All right, are you stuck in a bad position, in a bad job, in a job that you think you should leave? Today I'm going to talk about 5 points that I think might be relevant to somebody who's experiencing job burnout or feeling like they're just in the wrong position and they need to change, but maybe you're having some doubts. My name is Dr. Mo. I'm Mohammed Ashori, MD. I'm a family medicine doctor and I do digitalnomadphysician.com. If you're interested in coaching, go to /consult. And if you're interested in checking out my online course, go to /course, digitalnomadphysician.com /course. All right, so let's dive right in. I think it's normal for us to be in a bad job. It's not our fault. It's not the boss's fault. It's not the hospital fault. It's not about healthcare being bad. Sometimes a job just doesn't have what it takes for us to feel satisfied. And it's not because maybe we're demanding too much and we are spoiled, or because healthcare is going down the drain and our boss just wants to ride us. Those are the stories we then maybe our mind creates to kind of fit an explanation that can make sense, that we can digest so that we don't go cuckoo. The goal is not for you to listen to this and then be like, all right, good, I'm going to leave my job. The goal is for you to understand what is it about this job, this position that you have that's making you suffer, and what are all the fears that are coming up that either are keeping you in that job, or maybe certain fears that are keeping you from going to another job and thinking or believing that you actually might be successful. So probably in 2016, that's when I hit the peak of my burnout in medicine. I was doing a mix of primary care at Kaiser Permanente and urgent care, and I was just starting to get into some healthcare consulting. And the burnout came because I just continued being in a position that I didn't like. I was continuing to put in the same amount of effort as a young attending. I finished residency in 2009. And up until 2012, I felt really invigorated. I felt a lot of energy. But then I started doing way too much. I was working a lot more, trying to make more money. I was stressed. I wasn't sleeping good. I wasn't eating well. I was working out, but not effectively. And so I think what can happen is your health can suffer if you're in a job or in a position that you don't like. And the only way around that is to think about your health as to whether it's important to you, whether it is something that is of value to you. And I mean that sincerely, because for some people it's like, no, I just need to make a lot of money. In which case, you probably shouldn't be watching this video, man. Move on, watch a different video. This is not going to help. But if health is important to you, if you believe that feeling healthy, eating good, having a body that functions the way you want it to, if that's the case, then this job that is maybe just a bad fit for you, or let's say sucking you down, it's time to leave it. It's time to let it go, because your health is more important. Your health is something that affects every piece and aspect of your life, your well-being, your emotional, your spiritual, your physical wellness. If that is compromised, no matter what that job gives you, prestige, money, income, it's not going to matter. It's not going to matter, and in fact, it might be something you resent later in the future. So maybe now you realize, okay, you're right. I'm drinking too much alcohol. I didn't even think I have problems. I was hanging out with a bunch of people who drink a lot of alcohol. I was smoking weed every morning before going to work. I was popping Valium. And now I realize, my health is going down the tube and this is not good. I need to go. I need to leave it. And I think the next step, the next way to think about this is that you are able to leave. It's perfectly fine if you choose to leave your job. You are a physician, you are a nurse practitioner, you are a physician assistant. Now, most of the people who are watching this are physicians. You're somebody with very important skills within a very narrow niche. Even if AI comes, even if everything else comes, you're still a physician. You are able to prescribe medications, you're able to diagnose, assess. You're able to take a bunch of information and draw an important conclusion from that. You're able to support someone through it. So there are so many skills that you have, even if you think you're in a very narrow field, like let's say you're a gynonc, or you're a hospitalist, or you are just a family medicine doctor, working in like an FQHC. These are very narrow jobs, and it's easy to think that there's nothing else I can do. But the reality is, people with these skills are able to be in so many different roles. They're able to be in health informatics, they're able to be medical directors, they're able to be operations managers, chief medical officers. They're able to just take their family medicine skills and go become a hospitalist. The hospitalist can go become a primary care doctor. The pediatrician can go become a telemedicine doctor working for a large telemedicine company. Another physician can go overseas and work for a consulate. You can go work on a ship, on a cruise ship. You can go work in the urgent care. From the urgent care, you can go work in the emergency room. From the emergency room, you can go work in the hospital. Thinking that your skills are limited only to the licensure that you have is very normal, but it is a little bit of that medical school residency mentality that I think it's good to get out of, because if we continue that mentality, it's likely that we're gonna have a very limited view of our skills and our abilities. So now that you know you're adaptable, now that you know that the skills you have can translate into so many other opportunities, the next thing to realize is that your growth can really be stunted in life. And true that I think sometimes we believe that we must achieve this amazing transformation in life and become these spiritual beings, or be Dr. Oz, or be somebody like really famous and achieve something great. But in reality, sometimes just not suffering, being able to be with ourselves alone or with loved ones and not create a bunch of strife and complications and drama can be a wonderful way. And that's growth. To me, that's growth. And to achieve that, you need to be able to make sense of some of the things that have happened in your life, and you need to make tough decisions. Tough decisions don't mean sacrificing everything, throwing everything on the line. You're a doctor. You're never going to have to do that again. You're done with that. Of course, you might have hurdles. You might have medical board investigations like I did in 2018. You might get sued multiple times, like many physicians I've coached. You might have a major legal battle. All of those things are possibilities, but you'll still always be a physician. So for growth to happen, you need to understand the skills that you have, and you need to realize that if you keep yourself in a position that's very restrictive, there's no growth that can happen, because on a daily basis when you come to work, you're just dealing with the negativity, you're dealing with the negative thoughts, you're dealing with coworkers whom you now have turned into villains, or a boss who is now an evil dictator, instead of maybe going to another position to just gain perspective, to be like, oh, maybe all my coworkers are a little bit weird, or maybe all bosses are like this. And then it no longer becomes about you and like how the whole world is trying to suffocate you, but it becomes about, what is this journey that I'm on? What is it that I'm trying to achieve? What is it that I'm trying to do? Because I can go get a job anywhere. I can go to Kansas. I can go New York, California. I can go to Florida. I can go to Puerto Rico. I can get a job anywhere. So it's not a limitation of jobs or opportunities. It's a limitation of a mindset. And like I said in the beginning, though, growth in the sense of becoming somebody noteworthy is not important. Personal development in life, that kind of continual adaptation to the things we experience, is a necessity. If you don't have that, you do become more, not introverted, but you start maybe feeling that your world is getting smaller and smaller. You have more difficult time with anxiety, stress, interpersonal relationships, and it can have a lot of negative consequences in the future. So yes, you do have to get outside of your comfort zone to make some changes, maybe to leave a job, maybe to change positions. But again, you don't have to sacrifice everything. The next topic is finances. The next important thing is money. Sometimes we believe that we must have that $650,000 job. I need my $1.2 million as a radiation oncologist. I need my $350,000 as a gastroenterologist, rheumatologist, or allergist. I need my $250,000, $300,000 as a family medicine doctor. But money isn't everything, and money can never buy you that peace, that satisfaction, that daily enjoyment. You can wait long enough that you come to that realization yourself. That's called burnout. And by the time you get to burnout, it's really tough to kind of pick up all the pieces and reel things back in to be able to go back to normal. So instead, maybe making a small sacrifice with the finances, you might be able to discover something much more important to you. And you may not even know that because you've spent so many years from medical school through residency, through fellowship, trying to go for that higher pay. Maybe telling yourself the story that I didn't have any money as a medical student. I have so much debt. I have this car. I have this house. And yet, all of a sudden, you could start your own online practice, your own virtual medical practice. You could start your own health coaching practice, a wellness practice. You could go and start a brick and mortar practice. You don't even have to work in there. You can hire PAs, NPs, you can hire associate physicians to run the practice for you. But understanding, of course, the business side of it is a little bit of a journey that you'll go on. But the money is not everything. And there's plenty of doctors who went from making $500,000 to half of that, $250,000, and they're fine, and they're happy, and they're still able to live good lives. And the number 5 reason that you should consider a change in your job position or situation is that opportunities are endless. Now, fortunately, we live in the US where there's a lot of opportunity for income and growth. We have a private medical sector, we have a cash-based medical sector, we have an insurance-based medical sector, we have the outpatient world, the inpatient world. There is just so much, and we have the virtual world. So there is a lot of opportunity for us to have something that we like. Chances are there is a job out there, there is a medical clinic, there is a situation that resonates more with you. Now remember, up until this point, all the other 4 points that we talked about, it is a lot about personal growth. It is about understanding what are my perspectives, what is all the baggage that I'm bringing to this job that's making things complicated. So what changes do I need to make? But at some point, this job is no longer serving me any positive purpose. So I do need to change. No, as they say, opportunities are like buses. They come every 15 minutes. There are way more opportunities than you can even imagine. In fact, maybe you were applying for a job while you were at this job that you don't like, and then all of a sudden the new opportunity emails you and says, sorry man, we found a replacement. But that just means that there is another opportunity out there, right? And one door closes, another door opens. And that's a fact because there's so much happening around you that you just don't know. So it is an opportunity to connect, to network, to meet other doctors, to meet other CEOs and business people, entrepreneurs who are starting new businesses, because they might have an opportunity that you're excited about. Or of course, you can just start your own practice. And starting your own practice doesn't mean you got to start your own practice and that's it for the rest of the life. You got to live in this little bubble where you're doing everything. It means that you just go through the process of starting your own practice. And what is it that you'll learn through that entire journey? I learned a lot. I learned that in the beginning, when I couldn't market myself, nobody even knew that my website existed. And then later I started getting a bunch of super healthy people who were like kind of biohackers that I wasn't really interested in. And then I got the heart health coaching people who were maybe a little bit, had too many medical issues that I didn't feel like I wanted to handle. And now I'm kind of finding this new balance of maybe Dr. Rashori, my new rebrand, which is drrashori.com, where I'm helping people kind of like myself. They're quasi-healthy, they're past their 30s, they're realizing, all right, I got to make some changes, I got to have a plan, long-term health plan. And maybe they just want to talk, they want a health coach, they want somebody to then later become their doctor. So the process, the journey will definitely give you a lot of opportunities. So stop settling. That's the most important thing. Don't settle for a job that's not good because of the fear of something else not being there, or maybe the fear that if you do leave, you'll never be able to find another job, or if you take some time off, you'll never get hired again. Forget that. Number 2, the conclusion number 2 is you don't need permission from anybody to leave your job. If you are the one who believes you don't need it, if you feel that you're in tune with who you are and the world and the universe and your body, then give yourself that permission, right? You can give yourself that permission. And if everything goes wrong, it's much better to be able to blame yourself than anybody else. Because if you blame yourself, well, then from within yourself, you can find a new solution. You can reinvent yourself. I've done coaching now since 2015. And there have been so many people who've had incredible journeys. They went from a bad position, they found an awesome telemedicine position, they moved to another country, they moved their entire practice to another country, they've taken their entire practice and turned it virtual. All of these people have had great transformation because I think they had the vision to do something different. All right, guys, that's it. Go to digitalnomadphysician.com, subscribe to this YouTube video, and tell me where you're at in your journey. What are you struggling with? What is the most difficult aspect of leaving your job? Take care, guys.